And a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Tornado Talk, where we talk all things Brevard College athletics. And tonight's show, we're going to go beyond just the athletics world a bit with a special edition of Tornado Talk. And do want to introduce you to our guest we have here with us tonight. On the top middle box is Debbie Dana. She's the Vice President for Student Success, the Dean of Students, Title IX Coordinator, and also the chairperson of the Brevard College COVID-19 Task Force. Debbie, thanks for joining the show again.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks for having me.
Also, on the top right corner, Allie Grace Hartman, junior pitcher on the softball team and vice president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and she's also a student health ambassador. Allie Grace, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me, Phil.
In the bottom right position, Britney Franks, senior outfielder on the softball team. She's the president of SAC, also the president of the Student Health Ambassadors. She's vice president of Student Government Association, a tutor in the ELC, and also a peer leader. Britney Franks, thanks for joining the show again.
Thanks, Phil.
And also with us is Emily Fisher. She's another student health ambassador, senior RA in Beam Hall. She works in the library, also is a student ambassador. Emily, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks so much for having us.
Well, an important topic we're going to tackle tonight, which is the health and safety of the Brevard College community and the Brevard College campus. And we're going to get started here with Debbie Dana. Before we kind of get into sort of a state of the union, Debbie, where we're at this point of the semester, would like you to tell us about this student leadership position and, you know, these three students who are here in this leadership role now, the student health ambassadors. What's the purpose of this new position?
So the student health ambassadors is something that started through MAHEC with the COVID situation, and they really wanted to use our students to help educate our campus and promote healthy behaviors around COVID. And so UNCA and Western Carolina have had student health ambassadors for quite some time, but their focus this year is really on the COVID situation.
Makes a lot of sense, and certainly as important as ever, you know, with the COVID situation. And speaking of which, can you provide our audience with an update where we're at right here in the here and now at Brevard College?
So as of today, we have 7 active cases involving students, and we have 2 active cases involving staff members. And the staff members are not related to the student cases. So they're 2 separate situations. We have around 87 people in quarantine. And that is related to the student positive cases that we have.
And when you mentioned the quarantine, I know, you know, part of this is, you know, when we spoke at the beginning of the semester, the cohort housing and how that would be useful at times like this. Can you explain a little further for our audience who might not quite understand that part of it?
Yeah, the cohort housing, we made a decision probably around June or July to house all of our students with their group that they are most affiliated with, closely affiliated with, whether it be an athletic team, theater, choir, depending on where we felt like they would spend most of their time. And so all of our teams and other students that we could group in cohorts live in the same area. And with this latest situation, it really helped us to be able to contain the cases that we have within one student group and within one residence hall.
Very good. Appreciate that. Now, Allie Grace and Brittany and Emily, you know, your role as student health ambassadors is as important as ever right now. And, you know, as we get through this fall semester, and Brittany, we'll start with you with this one. Can you tell us even more about your role, kind of, you know, what you feel is your place on campus now that you're a student health ambassador along with your other leadership roles, and what are your responsibilities in that role?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as a student health ambassador, we really focus on not being a disciplinary figure. You know, we are around our peers all the time, so we're not trying to crack down any certain rules or anything like that, but we do want to help enforce those rules and be good examples around campus, in our athletic teams and our friend groups, things like that, to help promote the things that we should be doing to keep our campus safe.
Allie Grace, anything to add to that?
Yeah, like she said, we never want to be the mask police, or we don't want to come off as the mask police, but we just want to be a group of students to help support our peers and for all of us to try to stay healthy together.
And Emily, we talked about all the kind of different areas around campus that you're heavily involved in. As far as this role as well, how do you see it all kind of intertwining?
Honestly, it isn't that much different. As an RA, I am responsible for the health and safety of the people on my hall and especially in my building. So this just helps even more. I stay informed. I get firsthand knowledge from Debbie, and I'm able to pass it around to the halls. A great initiative that we've actually started. This might be going too far in, but I'm really excited about it. We've started doing positive reinforcement by reaching out to the RAs and other halls, and as they're doing their rounds, they're passing out BC swag to encourage people to keep wearing their masks and everything in the halls. So it's honestly made it a little bit easier.
Everybody loves some good BC swag, that's for sure. So I like that tactic. Now, can you guys talk a little bit about messaging and sort of, I'm sure you guys have game planned a bit, how you're going to approach folks and continue to communicate the importance of, doing the things we need to do to keep the campus safe and healthy. I'd love to hear from each of the students. We'll start with Brittany once again. What's some of the message points you're emphasizing?
Yeah, so obviously from the get-go, we've been really hammering on the 3 W's, washing your hands, waiting 6 feet apart, and wearing your mask. And we've seen a really good job of that throughout our campus. And also, I think a big thing right now is we just want to make sure that our students are getting firsthand information, and that's truthful information. Being on a small campus, things can turn into a game of telephone real quick. So we've been doing things like Emily mentioned, the wellness walks, handing out BC swag, and we're working on some flyers to put around just to keep students updated with what's actually going on, what they actually need to be doing, so things don't get too twisted.
And Allie Grace, I'd love to hear from you as well on kind of that topic, the communication part of it, and some of that messaging.
Yeah, just to add on to what Brittany said, we also just started an Instagram. So I think that's a good thing too, because I feel like a lot of people here are on Instagram or have Instagram, and that's a good way for them to get firsthand information if they didn't read their email that morning, or it's a lot better to get it from there than, like she said, telephone. It happens with everything. But yeah, I think our Instagram's been a really big thing, and we really want to push that for people to get that information from there.
And Emily, similar experience yourself as far as messaging goes, or anything to add to what Brittany or Allie Grace said?
Honestly, they really hit it all up. We're just making sure that everybody's getting their information truthful and as quickly as possible.
Let me ask you this. Is everyone receptive to receiving this information at Brevard College? It's no secret that around the country there are some people who are resistant to, things like wearing masks and stuff like that. From my experience, Brevard College has been really doing well in this category. But I'd like to hear from you guys, since you're speaking to people, fellow students personally. How do you feel like the reception of these ideas is going? Brittany, you can kick us off.
Yeah, personally, I think that, I surround myself with a lot of athletes. So I feel like we are on the same page. Everyone wants to have their season. They want to get out and practice, and they want to play with their teammates. And especially as a senior, and some of the people I came in with, we want to have, our senior season. So that's a big thing. And a lot of athletes are, I think, a lot more receptive because we kind of see the end goal. But other students as well are just as receptive. I don't think I've came across anyone that's kind of like butt heads about any of the rules. And it may not be like a peer pressure situation, but I think definitely our staff and faculty help keep everyone in line too, especially in the cafeterias and things like that where large groups gather.
Very good. I'd love to bring Debbie Dana back into the conversation now. Debbie, about, around the midway point, maybe a little past in terms of the semester, overall, pleased with how the Brevard College campus, students, faculty, staff have all done the things they've needed to do?
I am pleased. I mean, I think you always have a couple people that that may need more reminding to put their mask on. I think the biggest challenge beside the mask is the distancing. I don't think people understand the importance of staying 6 feet apart at all times, even if you have a mask on. And so I think it's helping getting that message out in a positive way. But I've been very pleased with our campus. I think people are taking it seriously, and I think people want to do the right thing. And I don't think even those that have to be reminded, I don't think they're trying to be malicious at all. I think it hasn't become a habit yet. And then we continue to remind them, and they've all been very respectful when they are reminded to put their mask on and to stay 6 feet apart.
Excellent. And sticking with you, Debbie, you kind of gave us, sort of where we're at now and the current situation. But I know some things are adjusting a bit moving forward, both for the rest of the fall semester, but also looking ahead to the spring semester. Can you give our audience a little bit of a heads up as far as what's coming down the pike?
Yeah, so we are going to ramp up a little more testing than we have in the past. So we will do 25% of all residential students will be tested weekly. That will be a random testing, unless people want to volunteer, and they can always volunteer to be tested. And then 25% of the athletic rosters of each team will also be tested weekly. And so I think this, it's that time of year. We're also having flu season at the same time, and so we want to encourage students to get a flu shot. And faculty and staff. We're trying to work with Blue Ridge to get a flu shot clinic on campus so people can have their flu shots. So yeah, and we've also continued to suspend in residence hall visitation. So you can't even visit from a different residence hall right now. I think we're going to keep that the rest of the semester, just to try to really protect those living cohorts right now.
Very good. Appreciate that. Last one on kind of the COVID-19 topic. This one for Brittany and Allie Grace. If you all can give us a little bit, behind the scenes, what it's like to be a member of an athletic team during this time. And, I know, part of it is by design, the cohort housing and you guys sticking together. But can you talk about how it's been in the, COVID-19 environment, you guys existing as a softball team? Brittany, you can get us started here.
Yeah, so I actually don't live in the cohort housing. I do live by myself, though. So that is something that Allie may be able to touch more on, but especially on the field and for team activities, we're very conscious of each other. We all want the best for one another. So we do respect each other's boundaries when it comes to staying 6 feet apart. Even if we don't have our masks on, like at practice, due to our cohorts, we're still respectful. We still have the awareness of where we are around one another. And I think that we're all doing a very good job at doing that, keeping hand sanitizer, things like that, and kind of limiting our sharing throughout the dugouts.
Allie Grace?
Yeah, living here is not what we expected. Coming into the summer, I wasn't expecting to live with everybody, but I'm actually really glad it happened like this. Everybody being in one building it's nice. We would have never picked it, but now that it's here, it's like everybody's together all the time, and it's making us get a lot closer than we expected. But yeah, aside from everybody living together, like Brittany said, we're doing a really good job at practice of everybody supporting each other and making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do and everybody's staying safe.
Excellent. Well, student health ambassadors, I really applaud the three of you for taking on this role. And I know there's some other students who are in this role as well. Brittany, could you maybe give us a couple more of those names just so we can recognize them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Destiny Williams is a part. Gabe Covington, Yuri Leal. Let's see. I'm drawing a blank a little bit. Allie and Emily, you can help me out as well.
Well, we got three more in there, unless anyone else has someone else we want to mention.
We have Tamia McGee and Lizzie Vassy are the other two.
Very good. A question here, we'll let Debbie handle this one, from Zuni Fernandez. Are the students 6 feet apart in the classrooms, Debbie?
They are. Every classroom is set up to be 6 feet apart, and masks are also required in the classroom.
Very good. Appreciate that. Well, in addition to being student health ambassadors, in the intro of this show, we rattled off a bunch of other leadership positions for each of you. Love to kind of go around the horn as far as what else you guys are up to around campus extracurricularly and in a leadership role. Emily, can you kind of explain to us a little further about each of your roles on campus?
Oh yeah, totally. So being senior RA and being basically, I'm just not above everybody else, but I kind of help be the bridge between housing directors and the other RAs. So I just kind of overview, check in on everybody, make sure everything's going okay. So it's not that much different from being a regular RA. I'm also student ambassador at the admissions office. So if any of you are watching or are looking to come for tours, I'm more than likely going to be your tour guide if you happen to come on Mondays at 10 o'clock. Plug right there. Please come see me. I'll be your tour guide. I'm also involved in the ELC, which is our tutoring service over in the library. So I help everybody out in there with some subjects. And then I'm also part of the agricultural club. If you guys really enjoy getting your hands dirty or want to, see how the farmers work, because honestly, I grew up in suburbia. I didn't know either. Super interesting. So definitely come on out if you guys want to join any clubs or anything. But that's pretty much the gist of all of my jobs.
Well, there's also I Will. Can you tell us more about that, Emily?
Oh, yeah, of course. IWIL stands for Institute for Women in Leadership. We are a group of women who come together and basically learn how to be leaders in our community and our classrooms. We do a lot of service projects, which are super fun. We'll go down to Bread for Life. We'll also go down to, trying to think of the other place, some Rooster Head, the farm down there. That was the other place I was thinking of. We could volunteer a lot there in those two places and just kind of help out the community, give back. So it's a lot of fun.
Britney Franks, president of SAC, also vice president of SGA. Can you talk about your roles in each of those organizations?
Yeah, so as the president of SAC, I really just help to relay information to other athletic team leaders or representatives in SAC. We also do service projects, which have been a little tough during this COVID season. Trying to get outside of campus to do some things, but we're definitely working with our maintenance staff to get some things done around on campus where we're not leaving too much and not risking any of the COVID spreading. Also for vice president of the Student Government Association, we meet with all the clubs on campus. We help approve their budgeting, making sure that they're following the guidelines that they need to be an active club on campus.
Very good. And Allie Grace, you're vice president of SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. Can you tell us about your role with SAC and also some of the things that you guys are working on?
Yeah, of course. I'm kind of Brittany's right-hand man right now. Anything she needs help with, I'm there to help her. If she can't run a meeting or if she can't be there, then it's my job. But yeah, like she said, right now we're trying to do as much community service as we can. Chloe Profit has been super good about contacting people and getting us jobs set up and stuff that are COVID friendly right now. So that's been our main goal right now, and planning our Halloween event. So that's been the busiest things we've been up to lately in SAC.
And Brittany, sticking with SAC, I know you all had a couple of successful blood drives this fall, which is really a big need as much as any, kind of circling back to COVID-19, with, health being an issue and, medical concerns and that kind of thing across the country. But you all were able to facilitate with the Blood Connection some really effective blood drives here on campus. Can you tell us more how those went?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started out with a sign-up sheet, I think around 25. And we definitely exceeded that number. So much so that we extended the hours of that blood drive a couple months ago, and we're actually hosting another one on the 27th of October. So for students that didn't get to participate, that still want to, there is one on the 27th of October. And they also perform the antibodies test for COVID-19, so that can be useful as well.
Very good. And what's the location for that?
It will be in the parking lot behind the cafeteria.
Very good. And I know there's opportunity to sign up in advance. If you go to bctornadoes.com, there's a news story about it with all those links and so forth. Well, appreciate you all kind of filling us in more. If we can kind of shift over to your academic life, would love to let our audience learn more about you even further. Emily, we'll start with you. Academically, what's your major? What do you hope to do once you graduate from Brevard College?
Cool. I major in biology and I minor in chemistry and criminal justice. I'm hoping to go on to grad school after this, but I'm interested in the concentration of using cold case DNA and using Ancestry and 23andMe free databases like that, and being able to make a tree and connect someone to the crime, even if their DNA didn't pop up in the database right away. It's a really cool show. It's a really cool concept that they have. It's called Genetic Detective. That kind of shows it all. So if you guys want to go check it out, definitely recommend it. I've been binge watching it lately.
Very good. I like that. Really kind of giving us a action item to work on before the next tornado talk. Brittany, how about yourself in terms of academics?
I'm also a biology major with a health science and chemistry minor. I'm currently in the application process, hopefully to go to dental school after completing my 4 years here at Brevard College.
And Allie Grace, tell us about your studies.
I'm a health science major and a biology minor. And after I graduate, I want to go to PA school.
Okay, well, before we leave the classroom and head to another topic, I'd like you each to think back so far here at Brevard College, and perhaps you're consulting a freshman. What's the favorite class that you've taken so far? And tell us about that class and that professor. Emily, get us started.
I had to really think about that one, to be honest. I would say, I'm going to say two, because I feel like there's two different approaches to how people learn. If you're very into puzzles, definitely take organic chemistry with Dr. Biava. Dr. Biava is so funny. He makes it so relatable. I never wished time to go faster in that class unless we were taking an exam, and I just wanted it to be done because I did not like the tests in there. And then the other one would be Criminal Justice 101 with Dr. Tim Powers. Or any of the other professors, honestly. If you can take that, it's a wild ride. You never know what you're getting into. I remember walking up the hill early, 32 degrees, 8 a.m. class. We're going to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Was not ready for that one. I should have brought coffee, but it was a great trip either way. So I definitely recommend taking either of those classes.
Great stuff. Same question for you, Brittany.
Yeah, for me, it was definitely microbiology with Dr. Mavidi. I always was interested in the biological sciences, so different parts of the body, diseases and things like that. So in that class, I really saw a lot of things intertwine. And Dr. Mavidi is also my advisor. So we've gotten very close over my 4 years here at Brevard College, and she just helps out tremendously. And I can say that with all of the staff members that I have participated in their classes in as well, especially Dr. Biava. No one can really dislike him, or really any of our professors on campus. They're so good. They work with you no matter the circumstances, and they really do want the best for your academic success.
Allie Grace, if you were to pick one or two, favorite class, favorite professor?
Brittany stole my first one. Microbiology with Dr. Mavidi. I'm in the middle of it right now, but she's definitely an amazing professor. She helps me so much. This is my first time having her, and I've heard such good things, and they were not wrong. And I have to add a second one, and anything with Dr. Knott, just a blanket statement. Dr. Knott is amazing. Yeah, those are my two, if I had to pick two.
And want to give a shout out to Dr. Knott as well. He's a big asset to the Brevard College Athletic Department as the faculty athletic representative as well, the liaison between the faculty and the athletic department. So we thank him for his leadership in that role as well. Well, we're going to stick with the two softball student athletes and kind of get into the athletic side now. Of course, it's Tornado Talk. Our audience is familiar to us talking some ball. So we'll get started with Brittany. this fall you all have had a venue change in terms of your location. Also, you have a new coach on board who's getting started with the Tornadoes. Tell us how it's going with BC softball.
So things are going great. I don't think we could be in a better position than where we are right now. We kind of got our home back, so to say. So we're back on the dirt field. We don't have to worry about any scheduling conflicts on the turf. And yep, there's Coach Bree, Tornado softball. We're so lucky to have her on board too. You can really tell she's passionate about softball, and she can't wait to jump in with the girls and work with us. And I think we're just as excited. And definitely coming off last year, we were on that 7-game winning streak in Myrtle Beach. I know we talk about it a lot on Tornado Talk, but just I think we're all excited just to pick up where we left off and just keep the train rolling.
Tell us how these last couple of weeks in particular, Allie Grace, have been now that you guys are out on the softball field. You have a home to your own, the dirt field.
They've been weird, but a good weird. I think everybody's really excited to be back out there. It's like a whole different ball game when we're on the dirt field. It's amazing. I remember the first practice we were back out there, everybody was like this is so cool. Like we were back to where we started, and it's just really refreshing to have that. It's like we're young again, like we just started.
Well, we saw that message from Coach Bree sharing. We'll have her on a future edition of Tornado Talk without a doubt, and do want to welcome her to the Tornado family. Also want to thank Coach Steve Huckey, who has been a big help to the Tornado softball team, kind of taking on an interim role. He's familiar to Tornado baseball fans. Brittany, I see you nodding your head. He's been fun to work with, correct?
Absolutely. You can definitely tell he has a passion for the game. And baseball is similar to softball in some ways, different in others, but you can tell that he's really trying to bridge the gap. He's doing a lot to help us kind of maintain where we came off of from last year, help getting us reps, keeping things fun, and definitely doing a great job holding out until Coach Bree gets here.
Very good. Allie Grace, I'm sure you guys are anxious for the spring and to get out there playing again. Can you kind of just sum up, the direction you all are heading as a softball team?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're all super excited and thankful that Miranda and the athletic department made such a great hire so quick. Like we're all super excited. Like we were all a little anxious about it, going through that whole process again, but we're really excited for Coach Bree to get here. We're excited we have her, and going into the spring, I think we're just all, at least the returners, we're just all still like pumped up from that energy we had at Myrtle Beach, like Brittany said, and I don't think anybody's lost it. And I think we're all just ready to get started in February and hit the ground running from where we left off.
Yeah, no doubt. We're excited to see you out there as well. Well, before we sign off, Debbie, just an exceptional trio of students here who have gone above and beyond in terms of their leadership on campus, and do want to emphasize again this role of student health ambassadors that they're currently engaged in, and as far as trying to keep the campus safe and healthy. Can you kind of sum up into words, just how exceptional these three and all the student health ambassadors and our student leadership is on campus?
It's hard to even put into words the level of student leaders that we have at Brevard College, and they all bring different talents and different skills to the group. And for me, in my role, I sometimes don't get that day-to-day work with student leaders. And so having this group to work with has really been a blessing for me in my role. And I learn as much from them each and every time that we meet, and they bring an excitement and an energy to us that we needed at this time on our campus. And so, I'm so thankful for them and the work that they do, and the other 5 that aren't here. It's just a really phenomenal group, and they're getting the opportunity to meet other student health ambassadors from other colleges as well. And so they're bringing those ideas back to our campus.
Before we give you the opportunity to give shout outs and thank yous and all that fun stuff, do want to kind of go around the horn one last time in terms of messaging. If you have the chance, and you do right now, to talk to members of the Brevard College campus community, Can you tell us once again, each of the student health ambassadors, your message to them in terms of what we need to do to keep this campus safe and healthy? Emily, can you get us started, please?
Sure. My message would just be, let's just keep doing what we're doing. I know we're halfway through, and I know that we didn't exactly have a lot of numbers, and we still don't in the grand scheme of things, but we need to keep those numbers down. So the best thing that we can do is just keep looking out for each other and keep protecting each other. Wear your mask, wait 6 feet apart, go get tested, go for a walk if you feel like you are starting to get overwhelmed. There's lots of different ways that you can get out and still go see your friends, even if it is social distance and not the same way that it's always been. We're here for you. We're sounding off board, especially your RAs. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, please come and find us. You don't have to be alone in this, even if we are socially isolated.
Well said. Thank you for that, Emily. Brittany, message to the student body?
I think the main thing is just staying on top of the information that we're given. We get a lot of emails every day from Brevard faculty and staff. So I think a big thing is just, shuffling through those emails, finding the truthful information, and making sure that the people around you know that as well. Just holding your peers accountable, keeping the correct information out and about in your friend groups and around campus. So just really staying up to date with what's going on and being aware of kind of where we are as a campus.
Allie Grace?
To piggyback off what Brittany said about staying up to date, I think a big thing to get out to everybody is if you have questions, you can come to any of us or the email. It's just a really bad idea if you have questions to go get your information from other sources. So I think that's a big thing that I think everybody should know is you can ask us, you can email Debbie, you can email the COVID email, you can DM us on our Instagram. Brittany can tell you what the username is. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but yeah.
Yeah, our Instagram would be Brevard College _SHA.
Very good. And also brevard.edu has a COVID-19 page dedicated to the, up-to-date information and so forth. So encourage people to find that tab there on brevard.edu. Okay, students, before we let you go, I do want to give you the opportunity in case, any of your friends and family might be tuning in or someone you just want to thank who's helped you along the way. I'm going to give each of you, 30 seconds for shout outs or wherever you want to take it. Emily, anybody you want to shout out?
I don't know if anybody's watching that I know, but thanks to everybody that supports us here. And if my parents are watching, hi, Mom, hi, Dad, I love you. I miss you. I'll see you soon.
Well, that's a great opportunity for me to remind folks this program is available on replay. So anyone who's not watching live can catch your shout out on a replay as well. Brittany, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I think I can kind of speak for most students too. I think we can thank our families back home. They're kind of going through this with us too. They don't see us as much as we want to see them or vice versa. So a big thanks to them is kind of working with us and helping keeping us safe as well as keeping them safe as well, coming back and forth from campus and home. And just thanks to all the athletic staff and other members on campus. The support is really unmatched here. Everyone wants you to succeed and, they'll really help you any way they can. So thanks to everyone involved in Brevard College.
Allie Grace, shout outs, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to my mom and my dad because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't even be at Brevard and have done everything and accomplished everything I have so far. So a big thanks and I love you to both of them. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my sister because she's a nurse. And I feel like right now healthcare workers need all the shout outs and love they can get. So
very good. Debbie Dana, Vice President for Student Success. Before we sign off tonight, any sort of final message to kind of sum up tonight's program?
Yeah, I just say that, remember we're all in this together. We want our seniors to be able to celebrate their senior seasons, their graduations, all those special things about a senior year. And it's up to all of us to make that happen. And so I think care about each other like we do as a campus, and we'll get through this and we'll be stronger for it.
Very good. Well, be sure to follow Brevard College Tornado Athletics on social media, Facebook, Brevard College Tornado Athletics, and YouTube. You can like those pages. You can hit that little bell on YouTube, and you can make sure to get the notifications whenever a new video drops. Also, at BC Tornadoes on Instagram and Twitter, and also Brevard College Tornado Athletics on SoundCloud if you prefer, the podcast audio experience. Debbie Dana, Allie Grace Hartman, Britney Franks, and Emily Fisher, thank you for joining the show tonight. We hopefully were able to inform folks quite a lot about what you all are doing to keep the Brevard College campus safe and healthy. Thanks again for joining Tornado Talk.
Thanks for having us, Phil.